This is going to be a disaster. I didn't know Brian was going to. No, this is awesome. I'm the one that asked. So I'm
How do you think how I feel? I thought I was going to get to talk about me for an hour.
Not when I'm around.
What the?
That's the Brian Miller promise.
We're going to leave this in. This is the official start.
That's good.
Seriously.
That's a good open.
No Laugh Track Podcast. This is episode 336 of the podcast. We're here at Acme Comedy Company. Thank you, Circle of Heat, for letting us play your music there. I'm here with two guests today. I showed up thinking I would talk to one, and then this other guy fought his way on. It's Brian Miller, Costaki Economopoulos.
So who
listeners,
fought their way on?
listeners, guess who fought their way here and who I was planning to talk to. No?
I was just here for the free lunch.
That's right. Then the Frisbee. That's good.
Frisbee nerds.
We
You guys
threw
were
the
throwing the
Frisbee.
Frisbee around.
It was great.
That's good. Getting out and enjoying that nice weather here.
I found the only two people worse at throwing a Frisbee than me. It's
I think Brandon has nascent skills.
Brian can take that dig, but Brandon rightfully can't. That's fair.
He's got the hair of a man who needs to throw a Frisbee well.
That's true. Brandon, who produces the show now, in the back of the room, no microphone, can't really defend himself. But out of the appearance-wise, out of all of us,
Yeah, he looks the most Frisbee.
right? Not only is he the closest to like a college age,
Right.
ultimate Frisbee
That's
guy.
true. That's true,
Hippie
too.
hair, beard.
Right.
Yeah.
He looks like he sells Molly out of a van at music festivals.
Can you deny that, or do you?
I mean that as a compliment, by the way. You have any Molly? Oh, wait, we're recording. Yeah, right.
As a compliment. What do you look like, Justin? You're the only grown-up I know who gets skinnier every time I see him.
That's true.
Are you okay? Do you have AIDS?
He's the boy in the striped pajamas.
Everyone else I know is getting fatter, but not Justin.
I'm you should have seen me when I was born. 300 pounds.
Yeah, you're kind of Benjamin Buttoning on us here.
I'm actually getting younger as well. I'm like, what's his name from Mork and Mindy? Remember when? What was his name? The famous old comic, and then he came on Mork, and he.
Jonathan
Winters.
Yes.
He started as an adult, and then was supposed to get younger.
That's
Oh,
right.
I've never- I
I
don't
forgot
remember
that
that one.
premise.
Yes.
You're right. You're too young for that?
I've definitely seen
Yeah.
Mork and Mindy. I just don't remember that episode.
All right.
Mork calling Orson.
It was like a running thing for like a season or two, maybe. No?
Instead of, it was like they was there jumping the shark. I think it was instead of adding a cute kid, they
jumped the
added
Winters?
They added a chubby, funny old man.
Yeah?
Yeah. And actually, my first introduction to Jonathan Winters, I didn't know who that was before.
Right.
Did you?
No, I don't think so. Unless I saw him on the Tonight Show or something.
Yeah,
But
probably.
that didn't stick. I was a kid.
Hissing at Johnny Carson. I don't know why that was funny.
Well, guys, here we are. It is Thursday afternoon. You've been doing shows since Tuesday, so we got 2 down.
Yep.
Several more to go. How has it been going?
It's good.
I thought Wednesday was definitely better than Tuesday, I thought.
Yeah, Tuesday was nice, but they were like this is an old reference. They were like a non-smoking show from back in the day.
Oh, interesting. I never did comedy. Like, I've done a couple shows where there was smoking, like in casinos, but I never did it where they had non-smoking and smoking shows.
What do you mean by that?
Well, in the old days, there would be, as the transition out of smoking was happening, you would have like Sunday would be non-smoking, or like Wednesday night. They would just pick a night that was a non-smoking night at the club, and whoever self-selected that was usually not quite as laughy as the other crowds.
It's unfortunate the people who laugh the least survive the longest. I really wish we could flip that.
They drink
ratio.
less. They're a little less free, right? Yeah.
No, I believe that.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, a heavy smoker's laugh has a better sound, though, right?
Yeah. Well, then it's a coughing, and you think you're killing him. It's like,
Right.
is that a spit take, or is he just hawking up a lung?
He's dead. I win.
Yo, man. I mean, honestly, if you I can't deny it. If I made someone laugh so hard and they like had a stroke or they like actually died,
Yeah.
I would definitely enjoy that. To
Goes
some
in the
degree.
bio for sure.
Oh yeah, it would you'd feel bad that you killed a person, and I would hope they would at least be an older person.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
want to kill like a 42-year-old guy with some kids and
you use that as your intro at every show from then on.
Yeah.
Also, maybe bring like a defibrillator on the road. Like, you just set it on the corner of the stage.
It's a good shtick.
like they use it for horror movies where they say like a nurse has to check your heart rate.
It's very funny. Be careful in there.
Yeah, like you walk out, you just set it down. People are like, what the fuck? And then you address it. Like, this is just in case.
Yeah.
There's a history.
Oh, I killed a guy.
If I killed a guy, I would politely insist that the widow do like a little video testimonial that I could play before the show so just people knew what they were in for. You know? I'll bring in the black veil. It'll be like when she slaps Chief Brody in Jaws, after the kid disappears.
I see this as a segue to one of the darkest true stories of my stand-up career. How about that?
Oh, here we go.
Ready for this?
Yeah.
I used to work. I'm from Atlanta, so my early stand-up days were driving around the South, and I used to do these comedy zones, and a lot of them were in like Ramada Inn bars for the weekend. And I think this was Knoxville, Tennessee. The stage at the Holiday Inn bar, or whatever the comedy zone was in, it was flush to it was even with the crowd on one side. Like, you would walk on from the side that was flush with the crowd, and then it was a drop off to the other three sides. So it was this nice little stage, this cute little comedy setup. I'm the MC. I'm very green. I'm not very funny yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm on stage. A very severely handicapped woman to my left in a wheelchair, like crumpled and trying to speak, started yelling at me during the show. And one of the managers came over and kind of quieted her down, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I just swallow hard and do some more jokes.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of another joke, and there's like this huge response from the audience that was way out of proportion. And I turn, and she was on the side of the stage that was the same level, and she has wheeled herself onto the stage with me. And she's it's like really impossible to
How do you even deal with it?
I did not do well. So
you pushed her back down the ramp. You motherfucker.
The manager comes and grabs her and wheels her off the stage. I just swallow hard and do 3 more jokes and hand it off to the middle act. I come off stage. After the show, she stays after and comes and finds me. She's dying, and she thinks I'm very funny. And I'm sitting there, just the two of us, and I'm just giving her the space. And she's a bright woman. She's just trapped in this crumpled body.
Oh, right. Man.
But she's dying. She thought I was very funny, and she wants me to perform at her funeral. And she said...
Sounds like you just performed at one.
Pretty close. Welcome to my career. And she says, I'm going to pay you a lot because I know it's going to be a tough room. I was like, wow, that's a pretty...
Whoa. Yeah. She knows more about the business than some club owners.
I know. So I gave her my information, and I said, I'm very flattered by this. This is the strangest request I've ever heard of. And never heard from her. So hopefully she's still...
Maybe she made a turnaround.
Yeah, maybe she's still torturing comics in Knoxville somewhere.
You think if she was making those noises, she was just trying to pronounce your name? It's possible.
Nice. She's trying to say Maltasham.
Shout out to the MC.
I think this is the only time I've ever been on a show where there's a harder name than mine. That's harder than mine, right?
Motasham Yakub?
Yeah, it's harder. It's harder on the American ear, I think.
Yeah.
American tongue?
I had a harder time pronouncing your name
really?
at the beginning. Remember we did 5 shows and I didn't get it right until the 5th show? In Wyoming?
I don't remember.
How long ago was that?
My friend.
Like when you first...
we first met because Costaki needed an opener, and I think Sandell had done it the year before and he couldn't do it again. Because we'd never met in any capacity. And so he was like, hey, you want to come do these shows with me? So he flew into Minot, North Dakota. I drove by myself to Minot, North Dakota. That was a tough show, too. I drove all day, and then I did the show. I got there and did the show 30 minutes later.
That's a long drive.
I was shot.
Right.
And I was like, and so then after that, we get in my car, and we zigzag across the, whatever territory that, north.
The plains?
The plains,
what do
the
you call
north
that?
plains, whatever. We
South
zigzagged
Dakota.
from Minot, North Dakota, all the way to, we wound up in Sheridan, Wyoming. I think that was Sheridan, right?
What's the other one? There's another one.
We did a Wyoming.
Yeah, there's a Wyoming. What's the other city?
We did Rapid City, South Dakota.
Forget.
Yeah, but it wasn't Sheridan. It was the one with the Beacon, the bar. Remember that amazing cowboy bar that we went to on the last night?
Yes.
And they played rap music during it was like a country band, live country band, and then they would play hip hop during the set breaks, and all the real cowboys, like actual cowboys, would keep dancing to the hip hop in between that, and then they'd go and play old country.
Casper,
Wyoming. It was a great gig. That was a fun show.
That was a great gig. It was upstairs it was like a cool microbrewery that had an upstairs above the bar that was the showroom.
Yeah, it was like 250 seats.
It was the
like
perfect setup for stand-up.
It was great.
Yeah.
And then that was your brief window of singlehood, and there was a fetching lady who was into you that night.
That's right. There was. Yeah, I
think that's why we went to the Beacon.
I chased a girl around, and it didn't pan out.
No,
but I did end up having like text sex with her like a couple months later.
Oh, really?
How about that?
Oh, good for you.
That's random.
She was really nice. I liked her.
Yeah, she was cute.
And then remember we got back from we got back at like 4 a.m.
It's just its face.
And there was a
like, what's the point of that? Fair question.
Well, hey, when you've been married, you understand what the point of that is. You've been married, you know, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
You're married now. But we pulled up to the thing. It was like 4 a.m. And do you remember there was just that rodeo cowboy who was just like throwing his guts up out on the street, and he has like a white hat like pulled down over his eyes, and he was just puking up lake.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, I just remember that because you were flying the next day. I had to drive. I drove 14 hours the next day from Casper, Wyoming to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I did a guest spot at a club that night trying to get a spot, and then drove the next 4 hours home.
Wow.
Next day.
Those were fun gigs, man.
They were fun.
This started by you saying it was started with mispronouncing his name.
Oh yeah, so I'd never met him before. So he's like, "Hey, you want to do these shows?" And so it was like, well, I hope this guy's cool because we're gonna spend a lot of time together.
I know. I actually interviewed a bunch of your friends to make sure you were going to be okay to be in a car with.
No, that is
yeah.
Oh, that's a legit thing. I mean, we spent all of 5 days together.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah.
You're driving from Casper to whatever.
Wait,
Pier and
to save money sharing a room?
No.
No, we had rooms.
We had rooms.
Okay. Yeah, but the cars were those were long days.
Remember that one hotel we got and they put us in like the honeymoon suites? It was like where you're supposed to go, and you were in like the European suite or something, but I was in the jungle suite, and it was like it was like leopard print bedspreads, and Zebra like, you are clearly supposed to have sex in this room.
Yeah.
And then I'm just there by myself after one of the worst shows. Actually, it was like a very low attended show, and just sitting in this little hotel room, and there's like all these fake lions paintings like watching me jerk off or whatever.
I was going to say, does it help the mood when you're by
No,
yourself?
it doesn't. The whole room smelled like chlorine because it was around a pool in the inside, so it's like everything reeked of chlorine.
That lion staring at me.
Yeah.
Did we do Pier on that tour? Do you remember doing Pier?
I think we did. We met Brent Brandt.
Pier is the place with the magical trolley. You remember this?
Oh,
Pier. What's Pier?
Where the bars close.
Oh, wait, we didn't because I did not do the magical trolley.
Okay, you would remember that.
Yeah.
What's Pier?
Pier, South Dakota is, I believe, the capital of the
yeah.
state.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It has a run of bars along a river. There's a very popular area, and it closes at whatever X time. I want to say 1. And for some reason, the bars on the other side of the river are open till 2. And I think there's only one key bar over there. But what would happen is all these people would be kicked out of bars and then drive over. And so it created this DUI problem.
Sure.
So it's a thing in the town. There's a trolley that's like comes and scoops up all the drunks when the bar closes and takes them across the river to the other bar for 1 more hour. It was crazy. And that bar has strippers but is primarily a bar, which is never a good situation. Like, it's mostly a bar and it has strippers. Like,
yeah. It's bad for everybody, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was Tommy Ryman who was on with me on that. Yeah.
Boy, I went to college in Duluth, Minnesota. That whole thing, the idea you're talking about, would have worked great up there because the bars closed earlier, in Duluth. Then you would leave
you can
to
go
to
back
Superior,
over, right? Or you can buy package at the time. You could buy package liquor in Superior on Sundays.
Oh yeah,
but not in Duluth.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Did that plenty of times. Plenty of times.
I think maybe one time I did the drive to Hudson on a Sunday for packaged liquor. Like, I realized I needed to booze, and I was like willing to do the 45-minute drive to Hudson.
Was it a Super Bowl Sunday or just a regular Sunday?
I think it was like a football Sunday.
Okay,
yeah.
It was Mother's Day.
Dark days, man. Dark days.
Those rules are so weird. There was a stretch in my late 20s where I always had friends over Christmas night for my birthday because I realized
that's right. Your Christmas.
Yeah, I was born on Christmas Day, and I realized that by the time Christmas night rolls around, people are kind of done being with their families, and they were kind of freed to leave. So I'd have for a while we had some raging parties Christmas night at my house, and I always had to buy way too much beer because no one would know until it was too late. You can't buy beer on Christmas Day.
Oh, sure.
In
it's
that
the one
part of
that
the world.
every place is closed pretty much. Yeah.
Invariably, my friends would come and were like, "Dude, I'm sorry. I thought it was. Yeah, I got you. We're good."
I got up. I wanted to go to Target last Sunday morning. Good thing I looked on my app and found out they were closed on Easter. I cursed Target for about 5 minutes. Come on, not even till noon.
Closed on Easter.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, I was like, come on, not
If
even
you're
half day.
If you're not a believer, Easter is the most nothing holiday. You're just like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, well, I mean,
For the Greeks, it's way bigger than Christmas, and I got to go with the Greeks on this one.
Why is that?
Being born, not that big a deal. Coming back from the dead, that's really
Fair enough.
That's really the issue that warrants a holiday.
But the secular trappings of Easter suck. You know, like secular Christmas is awesome.
I'll give you
Secular
that.
Easter is garbage.
Yeah.
It's like, oh look, it's a basket with some plastic in it and
I'll grant
9
you that.
jelly beans.
Yeah. All right.
my cat, by the way, ate some of that freaking fake grass.
Oh, yeah?
on Easter.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and we noticed because of the.
Yeah, I was gonna say it.
The cat's gonna puke. Yeah. Anyway, enough Easter talk. I talked to my. Speaking of
Weirdly enough, that's what my preacher closed the sermon with on that. So. Enough of this Easter horse shit. Let's get to the money.
Preacher.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't have a preacher.
Let's get to the wine. Before I left today, I asked a question of
I've had 5 shrinks since I had a preacher. 4 shrinks.
That's what you called him? Where are you? This is Kentucky?
A shrink or a preacher?
Preacher.
Yeah.
Not minister or priest. Preacher.
I call him preacher. Preacher man. Preacher man.
man.
Yeah.
preacher man.
Sometimes
right.
pastor, but I prefer preacher.
All right.
It's fun to call him preacher, like, hey, preacher.
Really?
It makes you feel like you're in the Old West or something, you know? It's great.
I like the word vicar.
Oh.
You got to be careful with that one. You better be around some hardcore Catholics. You're going to get the crap beat out of you.
I'm not Catholic. In fact, like 10 years ago, I heard it. I had to ask what a vicar was, but I like the word. Here we go. I'm going to play something for you guys.
All right.
Please, I prefer Roman American.
Enough about Easter.
Alexa, who is Costaki Economopoulos?
Konstantinos Christos Vasilis Costaki Economopoulos is an American stand-up comedian.
Oh,
a
shit.
Florida native, he grew up in Kennesaw, Georgia with his brother Andreas. He began his comedy career in 1993 while attending graduate school at the University of Georgia. Economopoulos covers several topics in his act, but focuses mainly on political comedy.
That's all it is.
That's great.
What do you think of that? I asked Alexa that a few hours
That's
ago.
astounding. Is that from the Wikipedia
It is
page?
from Wikipedia. So what do you need to do to your Wikipedia?
I need to change the word politics.
Yes.
But otherwise, it's pretty good.
Right?
Let's get at the Poulos.
She even kind of got my name right.
She got it almost. She got all the earlier stuff right.
Yeah.
She dropped the.
Let's hear the beginning. Just one of the.
How did Andreas make it onto that?
yeah,
That's impressive.
Right? He's in the first one sentence
I
of
was
my
gonna
definition.
say, yeah.
Let's hear the name reading one more time.
Alexa, who is Costaki Economopoulos?
Konstantinos Christos Vasilis Costaki Economopoulos is an American stand-up comedian. A Florida native.
Huh?
See, I think that's how I pronounced your name the first couple of times.
Economopoulos.
That's all right. I'll give her that.
Huh?
That's well done.
Yeah.
Nice job, Alexa. Doing her research.
Yeah, but it's good. Shout out to the brother there.
I got to get my brother out of the first one
I
sentence
was gonna say.
of who I am.
Clearly, we know who wrote your Wikipedia entry.
Oh yeah, I think we solved the answer to that mystery. His handsome brother.
He also still thinks you're doing political comedy.
Yeah. He hasn't seen me in a while. No, that kid's great. He's always been supportive and comes to the shows and brings a ton of friends, and he's great. But it didn't need to be the first sentence.
Yeah, I was gonna say. And Krista might at least want preference on that.
right?
Like
No Zoe or Ava.
Yeah, right?
Andreas.
pros before hosts. Sorry, I called your 9-month daughter. Oh.
Yes, my wife and daughters.
It was plural. It was hose. Jesus. Oh, that's fantastic.
That's the first time I've not regretted you being here.
I'm putting that on my bio. Taking my brother right out of there. Sorry, Andy. You're
Genuine gut laugh.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's see here. I'm going to go over my notes here. I want to cover everything that we have here. Hey, Costaki, I saw that you did one of those dry bar comedy deals.
I did. Are you bringing this up just to torture Brian Miller?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Is that a sore subject?
I was supposed to do one this month and they ghosted me.
No.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Can a Mormon ghost you? I don't know how that works.
Have you talked about this?
No.
No. Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe I'll do it next year. I don't know. I'm willing to do it.
You know, it's early yet.
Yeah.
These things change.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
I think I got in. I honestly think what it was they were almost done booking them all, and they were like, "Yeah, that'd be good," but then they were like, "We filled our dates up."
Yeah.
They could have sent me the email saying they filled their dates up, but whatever, it was fine.
You'll get on. You're the perfect thing for them.
Yeah,
You're
they
smart
were
and
nice to
clean
deal with
and-
before that. Like I said, it's gotten very popular.
They'll be lucky to have you.
For sure. When was yours recorded?
Oh, I don't know. I did it about a year ago, I want to say. Yeah. It was hard to get ready for because that's a level of clean that's like...
Yeah, you can't say like God.
It's
or
not
Jesus
Conan
or-
clean. It's
Yeah.
not cruise ship clean. It's like, you can't reference things distantly.
Did you get as far like where they gave you the
No, I never quite got
rules?
into the. No, I never quite got to that. That was like the next step that we're going to get to. But I had talked to friends about that. I knew that was the case, and it is. Yeah, I mean it's.
Yeah, I
It's
did a lot of
for real
homework to
clean.
get it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to like change because certain jokes where you might be like you don't even realize in a joke where you go like Jesus, are you kidding me?
Right.
You know, and he's
Yeah.
like, no,
you can't say that.
None of that. Yep.
Right. It's interesting, though, and it was a great experience. And I have to say, they were super comic friendly. They were really nice to us in the process, and they also want your input in the editing and some of the other decisions that are made throughout, which is not what happens in all these kind of
No.
taping situations. So
And they're really smart about getting their stuff out there and marketing, and they get a lot of views on stuff. They got a
ton of views.
Yeah.
It's crazy the views they get. I think this is a new version of what happened when the Blue Collar Comedy Tour happened. It was a subset of the universe that no one had really spoken to
Yeah.
in stand up.
Yeah.
And so it's having like a really like kind of a electric response in the short run because it's new to them. You know, they're like, "Oh my God, no one's ever
Now, since
we
these
never
are
had comedy for us."
Right. Well, people think of niche, but they usually think of niche almost stranger as opposed to like. But there's a super normal niche. There's like a normcore, super normal niche kind of
Right.
thing, or like the liberal redneck. My buddy Trey Crowder.
Yeah.
You know, his career blew up because he was, he realized he's like, there's a lot of lefty people who are rednecks.
Right.
Like it's not you can be both, and it turns out no one in the world was talking to them. And when Trey did, all these people were like, finally.
Right.
You know, and now he's just crushing it in the South.
Right.
Who is that?
Trey Crowder, the liberal redneck.
Okay.
He sold out a theater here last year. His last St. Patrick's Day. Him and his guys, Drew Morgan and Corey Forrester.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, they do. But it is the format of like a blue collar comedy tour, and they are legit Southern guys. But I mean, it is very hardcore left. I mean, it's very political comedy. And like I say, the liberal redneck. It's in the title. You
Okay.
know?
I'll have to
Yeah,
look that up.
that's interesting. I
Yeah.
can't believe they've pulled that off.
It's very
kudos to them.
Yeah.
That's great.
And they're funny. That helps.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And they're real rednecks. I always wondered, like, oh, are we going to go back and they're going to, like, pull out monocles and start smoking cigars or something? And I was like, nope, these boys are for real. Reminded me of being back home.
Kostaki, as a parent of a how old is your oldest?
I have a 10-year-old,
10-year-old.
and a 9-month-old.
Yeah. The 10-year-old. Have you watched comedy with her at all?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit here and there. And she's helped me do a couple things that were when I did the album, was promoting the album live at Acme. You can get it wherever you get your albums. There was a couple of short pieces in there where I'm talking to her, that were in the album.
Yeah.
And, then we cut those down and we did a puppet version of it for YouTube as a way to just kind of have another way to go, hey, the album's out.
Love it.
And she played her part and mouthed the thing with the
I don't
puppet.
think I saw that.
Me
I should go back
neither.
and watch that.
It's pretty cool. There's 2 or 3 minute-long puppet versions
great.
of my, pieces.
The
on-
filthiest ones, right? The filthiest jokes?
Yeah, the dirtiest possible ones. So, yeah, she's a pretty savvy kid. We watch some stuff that's somewhat grown up. She's
PG-13-ish.
a little wise beyond her years, kind of kid, and so it's easy to kind of joke with her about stuff and talk about the process. she's curious about it. It's cool.
How much of your stuff has she seen?
Not too much. She came to see me. I did some weird show in New York that was a super clean thing that was a special kind of one-off, and she came to that, and she was kind of like blown away and excited because I just went up in the middle of the bunch of other weird stuff, and I killed for 10 minutes, you know?
Nice.
And she was like, you know, it was fun to see her enjoy that.
Yeah, well, especially if you're backstage with comics, like right up until the point where you're on stage, it's just like you're hanging out at a bar.
Right.
And then all of a sudden there's 300 people, and they're all hooked into you. And
then
it's
there's
all
this
energy.
weird magical thing that happens.
Yeah, and then
right.
you're done, and you're just like, oh, yeah, what were you talking about?
Yeah.
You're right back to the conversation.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
I think I just have one more question about this dry bar comedy deal. Like, it's an now there's an hour-long special of yours. Do you claim that as yours? Do you know what I'm asking?
It's not an hour. It's between
40
30
minutes?
and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
In my case, I think it's right at 40, just short of 40. I talked to a couple of buddies who had done it before, and they tackled it the same way I was thinking of doing it, which is do all of your best clean jokes and then dredge up your best clean jokes that you used to do and get them polished and ready to go and put it all together.
Okay.
And so there's several bits on there that I would never do anymore.
Okay.
But they still hold up. You know, I occasionally do them on a cruise ship or something where you need another few minutes of clean.
Okay.
And they're for
family
that crowd.
friendly.
They're for a family-friendly
Right,
crowd. So
exactly.
it's not like you're burning it for something.
There's nothing on there that I'm embarrassed that I did. I didn't go that far in trying to be someone else. I just cleaned up what I would do dramatically. You know, there are big chunks I never touched. Most of my new hour is about fertility and my wife, and you know, a lot of stuff like that. I didn't touch any of those subjects in that special at all.
Yeah, because you can't talk about you can't acknowledge that sex happens. Like if you watch those Bry Bar specials, you could think the stork is for real.
It's they're.
Wait a minute. Hey, Costaki was born on Christmas
totally get
Day.
your point.
I mean, you're just bitter because you didn't get one.
Well, of course. I probably shouldn't have called them motherfuckers, but no, it makes sense though, because like the whole, it doesn't make sense for them to do.
They'll never hear this, by the way.
No, it doesn't make sense for them to do 90% clean comedy, because then people are watching it with their kids and their grandparents, and then like one maybe uncomfortable joke comes up.
Right.
The whole point was this is supposed to be comedy that's not going to make that everybody can watch together.
Right.
So you got to go full clean. I think it's a really smart approach that they take.
Yeah, I think so too. Actually,
Because you start bending the rules a little bit, and pretty soon people are doing implied anal jokes or something.
Right,
and you're like,
right. Yeah.
I want to hear that.
right.
I'll show you later. That was an implied anal joke. I just implied that I just did it. That was very meta of me. But seriously, we can.
I did catch that one. Good job. Good job. Had you put that much thought into what you were going to do?
I was starting to, yeah, and I was going to do the same thing. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go back into the vault,
the best stuff, the
and,
clean,
yeah, and pull out some older stuff that, like you said, the stuff that I usually just do at corporates or whatever. That like I have to remind myself of the jokes because I don't do them in clubs because I'm just
Right.
they're in the past.
But that being said, I did a chunk of I did a clean version of the custody battle thing. That's not a super family friendly subject, and they were cool with it. And in fact, they even picked that as one of the clips that they pushed out. Yeah. So, there were some things that were adult subjects that they were cool with as long as they were handled in a super clean way.
Yeah, well, Bozeman has one, and I don't think of Bozeman as having any clean jokes, but clearly he does.
Yeah,
he's not super dirty, but you don't think of Bozeman and clean. I don't.
Right.
And I was like, oh, he did 40.
Where's he from? I haven't seen him.
Chicago. Do you know
Really?
Kevin?
I think of him as a guy like who wanders around, like Montana telling jokes for some reason.
He's a road dog, man. He's a powerhouse.
Yeah,
he's
right.
funny.
Yeah. Okay.
hasn't been around for a few years. I miss him.
He was in town for something else. It wasn't to work here because he was at Crash and Burn like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
he did such a good job at Crash and Burn that he got bored during the week because he'd already perfected 20 good new minutes. So then, just for fun, he did another 20 over the weekend.
What?
It was mean.
Wow, that is mean.
It was the only thing he's ever done that made me not like him. I was like, don't do that. You're making me feel inadequate.
Was it the week you were with him?
No, it was just I was just watching because I remember I was like, Kevin, you didn't do any of that other stuff.
Wow.
I think Ben Washburn did the same thing.
Wow.
Those guys are nuts.
Those guys are nuts.
They're too good. It's not fair.
Good for them.
I guess I lied. I have one more thing about this. When you go on their website for the dry bar deal,
yeah,
it has the filters that you can do.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Human functions / medical bodily functions, and then it says the comedian tells a joke about feces.
Wow.
Yeah, you want to filter that out.
Yeah.
We don't want that. with
You also
Grandma.
apparently use the word God 3 times, but they don't even write that out. They put G*D.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh, they have like specs on the.
They point out every questionable bit
Wow.
of material.
That's interesting.
And their other stuff that's not comedy content too. You can go through. They have like some crazy number. I don't even know what it is, but it's like 17. It's some giant number of different categories that they filter for.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like toggle on or off all these different things.
You apparently said hell twice.
Really?
Well, maybe it says H*LL, so maybe it was Hill or Hall.
I might have said Hall. Yeah. You can't say Hall.
Be careful there. All right. That's enough of that.
It's enough of Easter.
It's funny that the more we talk about being clean, I was like, literally was just like, I wanted to just say the C word for no reason. I literally just wanted to say it really loud. I was like, my mom will probably hear this. I'm not going to do that.
By the C word, did you mean
Costaki?
No, cactacky, which was one of the autocorrects I saw for your name this week.
Cactacky.
Cactacky?
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
I've got them all, man. They're fun.
Yeah, cactacky.
Between you and Keith Alberstadt, does anybody ever pronounce you guys' name correctly?
No, never.
By the way, say the name of the MC that's working this week.
Motasham
Say it
Yakub.
one more time.
Motasham Yakub.
Yeah, that rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, that one scrambled my brain more than most.
Yeah, for sure. Brian, it's good that you're here because I have a movie thing I want to bring up.
Oh, all right.
The Avengers Endgame. How excited are you to go see it?
Well,
I'm asking both of you. How excited? Have you already?
Kostaki laughed at me when I told him.
It's 10-0.
Yeah. It's 10-0.
10-0.
Because when I booked this week, I was like, there's only one downside to this week. I can't go see it on Thursday night. We got to do the show. And then
you could.
Well, I thought about it, but I'm doing Justice and Drew in the morning, the radio show.
Oh, on Friday.
At 7 a.m.
You don't
And I was
know
like,
people.
Is there a midnight showing?
yeah, there's like an
Oh, yeah.
11:30, but it's a 3-hour movie, so I'd be getting home at
wow.
like 3 in the morning,
Yeah.
and then I have to be on the radio 4 hours. Nah, that would be bad.
I mean, if you were a real fan, maybe we got to bump you down to 9.
maybe we do, actually. We probably do. I'm going tomorrow at 1:45.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll do radio, go home, take a nap, go to the mall, eat some Chinese food, get a coffee, and settle in for 3 hours of
Right on.
cartoons. For
Zero
grown-ups.
interest, Kostaki.
I didn't even really know it was happening.
Yeah. See, Kostaki is not really into geek stuff, really. I mean,
I
you
have
play
a different-
chess and
I
whatever.
have a
but
different category of geek. I'm
Sports
chess
geek.
and poker and fantasy football. I'm that kind of geek.
It's like masculine geek stuff more than like
All right.
dweeb geek
you
stuff.
count chess that way, I guess.
Well,
so.
I mean, okay. I'm spotting you the chess. I'm spotting you the chess one. But yeah, because this is a big week for. I think it's maybe the best pop culture week of my life. So last Friday we had 2 new Joe Bob Briggs movies. Joe Bob Briggs, the great horror movie host, who's a genius. So 2 new Joe Bobs. There's a Game of Thrones. And there's Avengers. And then there's 2 new Joe Bob movies tomorrow night, and then Game of Thrones.
And the NFL draft.
And the NFL draft.
And a
That's-
week with Kostaki.
Well, of course. I'm talking about internal.
All right, okay.
You know,
All right.
it's tied for the other 5 weeks we worked together.
Kostaki, how many radio shows were you on
Oh
yesterday?
my God.
I did 23 plus the podcast. That was crazy. That might be a new record
What's
for
the
one day.
longest of those segments? Of all the 23, were you on for like 10 minutes on some of them?
I'm on for 10 minutes on almost all of them.
That's a long segment.
Yeah, it's usually between 5 and 10, and it tends towards 10. And then I have one call that's a 20-minute call every time. They always want me on long.
I mean, that's great. but
So that's part
a
of the
long
reason
time.
that we overwrite,
Yeah.
so that I've got stuff to choose from. And then on the long one, I've got a big menu.
So you do my jokes in the long one, basically. Oh, no, we got to dig into Miller's stuff.
Miller doesn't get enough credit for this. He's my co-writer on the Quick Snap stuff, and he's fantastic. I've worked with a lot of different guys over the years, and he's far and away the best.
So,
5 years we've done this now?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I think it's 5.
Yeah.
I try to do as much research as possible to hosting this podcast,
Yes.
which means I tried to listen to the most, well, not tried. I wanted to listen to the most recent episode of Quick Snaps.
Oh.
Yesterday morning, that most recent one was from like 2.5 months ago.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was actually the one we did, probably, right?
It is.
Was that what? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the one you were on.
Yeah, it's the March trade flurry one.
And then I
Yeah.
got back on the internet last night, and then there's a brand new one.
Brand new
I
one
was like,
now,
where was
yeah.
that this morning?
Yeah,
but I had all
right.
the time in the world to listen to this. But you did a really good job of, you guys talked about that on that episode. Of
Yeah,
Brian's joke writing. You guys kind of went like behind the scenes quite a bit. I enjoyed that. I know you were like self-analyzing. Is this
wondering.
too inside baseball?
Yeah.
For me, loved it.
Okay, good. Because I had a friend of mine. He goes, "Man, I listened to the," and he started, and then he goes, "Yeah, so way too much of that." It's like, oh fuck, you fished me in. I thought, so it's a balance, right?
But it's off season. I mean, during the season, it's all what's going on that week in football. But
I agree. And as a writer, I didn't want to not give you full credit for being a big part of the machine.
Sometimes people ask me, like, does he get mad if you tell people you're right? I'm like, no. No.
You know who loves to torture me about? There's only one person in the whole world. It's Tom Bernard.
Yeah.
Tom Bernard did a dig this morning.
He does digs on my favor at you when I see him in the hallway.
Right.
I'll literally go, still keeping Costaki funny? Thanks, Tom. He does love to do that.
That's great. No one else
doesn't he do? I've heard
knows
him
or
do that
cares.
a couple of times. Like you have a really good one. He'll go, Brian Miller, right?
Yeah,
That one.
Brian Miller.
Which I like
right?
it because I was like, I'll take some free press on Tom Bernard's show.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I haven't heard the most recent one. What'd you do on the most recent episode?
It's through trial and error. I've learned that doing one the week right before the draft is more compelling than after the draft. There's a lot of buzz like this week going into the draft. There's this weird sort of NFL excitement that sort of percolates the culture.
It's totally manufactured, I think.
Right.
Actually, it's
And
almost fake, but it's there.
And it almost instantaneously disappears once the draft is over.
It is the Charlie Brown and Lucy in the football, where every fan is like, "Oh, this is gonna be great," and then but after the first night of the draft, you're like, "Oh, that was kind of boring." Why
We just had the Final Four here. I worked over there at the stadium for that event. As soon as that thing's over, did you hear a peep about the basketball? I mean, that week it was the biggest thing in town.
Absolutely.
After even going into Monday the championship, it's a little bit of talk, and then
I forgot that was
gone.
here. Yeah.
Nobody talks about it.
What was that like doing that event? Was it cool?
It was pretty cool. It was I was selling beers. It was the first one they allowed alcohol sales to the general public.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was. I had a good time.
Wow.
I had a good time.
Didn't you think-
Way more. Lots of Virginia fans, Michigan State fans left very unhappy.
Yeah, right.
Saturday. Yeah.
But some of the seating for that was preposterous.
Oh.
Some of the seats that were so far from the court that maybe they're playing volleyball down there. You can't really be sure.
Yeah, I mean, you are only there to say that you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how bad some of the seats were.
Oh, God, even in the first couple rows of the upper deck, let alone way the hell up there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bad let's be honest, they're bad for football.
Yeah, right. Much less.
Really?
Well,
it's that big?
Oh, yeah, I've said that since it opened. That I don't like how big it is. It's too big. Too enormous.
How many does it seat? Ish.
It's just so freaking tall and big.
It's like kind of the way it's laid out. Everything's kind of far away. I think you feel very distant. It's like, you ever been to the Fenway in Boston?
Yeah.
You know, Fenway, you feel like you might get asked to join the game at any point in time.
right.
You're like hanging
It's
over the
very
first baseline.
cozy, yeah.
It's like the
Right.
exact opposite of Fenway.
Oh, wow.
So far from everything.
I was talking to someone just last night who also worked that weekend. She has a different job. She was bartending, and I said, "Where were you working?" And she goes, "I was in the blah 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 club." And I said to her, "I've been in there for some training sessions. If we went to the stadium right now and said meet you there, I have no idea how to get there because of that stadium is so confusing."
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there's my best example of
Wow.
how big it is.
Now, where did you sell beer? Were you in a stand?
They did not have us do our normal, cold beer here up and down the stairs. Instead, they had us, we had the option to, at a stand in the hallway, like our own little...
Basically like an ice trough, and you're like, here we go.
I was the beer girl. I had a bikini on. And,
Are you getting a cut of it? Or are you paid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's why you're so skinny. You had to get in beer shape.
Well,
Show them
let me tell you
pittos.
something. I almost didn't work because the same thing they did. Here's a little inside. I'm going to ignore that.
We had two guys who are feeling chubby, and we're busting your balls because you look like you're in good shape.
We got to make ourselves feel better.
That's how comics
I
take
will
care of things.
drag
in
you
life.
down until you feel as bad as me.
Yeah, right.
Which technically makes me feel less bad. I'm going to tell Mo he's fat tonight. He's going to wreck his life.
It's my daughter's 11th birthday today. We're having a birthday party tonight. And because of you guys now, I will have 2 desserts. So I hope you're happy.
That's good.
I'm going to take hers.
Happy to hear that. Yeah, too.
I hope you're happy. No, I'll do a little quick inside baseball on that. I almost didn't work the Final Four, just like I skipped working the Super Bowl because the company decided to cut our commission in half.
Whoa.
Yeah. The normal commission we make for every other event we work there, they're offering us half of that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you can sell this crazy amount of beer, but your paycheck is going to be half of what it would normally be.
Because they know.
Because they can.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a buzzworthy thing and they know you want to be there.
Yeah.
So capitalism doesn't work?
Wow, that is really...
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a little inside baseball.
We know who's voting Bernie 2020 now.
Did you guys ever give any attention to that American Alliance football, that AAF?
Can you believe they folded in the middle of the season?
Yeah.
How bonkers is that shit?
What about the fantasy players who are, they're committed to a whole story arc?
I went to a game.
Really?
In Orlando.
How was it?
Fun. They geared it. I got the feeling it was week 3, and I think I got the feeling that they must have been giving tickets away to families or hugely discounted because there were so many kids there. Like I work Vikings games.
Right.
Like we just talked
That was
about.
kind of their
There are
pitch.
very few kids at Vikings games.
Well, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And
It's
honestly,
pricey,
the atmosphere at the stadium during Vikings games
I would never bring my
so
children.
unfriendly.
Completely.
It's like I don't like it. It's
No.
too mean.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I don't like it. I don't go to games live. People
Like
are
it's
assholes.
serious, aggressive football kind of energy?
Yeah. Some friends of mine used to go every year to a game, and they would all take ecstasy at the games, and that's a pretty good way to do it. But then you're just like 5 people who are in a really good mood around 79,995 people who are all just full of hate.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
People are really mean. It's like you go to a Twins game and it's people are like, oh hey, let me help you with it. Hold your popcorn for it.
Oh, sure.
Twins games, people are friendly as hell. Vikings games, mean.
The Vikings home when they play the Packers
Oh, yeah.
in Minneapolis this year. Do you know when the game is? It's a Sunday night. It's either Sunday or Monday night. I get confused. I don't remember.
It's a primetime game.
It's an evening game.
that'd be good.
I'm already not looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Because that means people drink
All
day.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
hammered before they get in there.
Right.
And then they want more.
Yeah, see, but it's funny, there was
I've experienced that before. It's not fun.
Those remember that guy, that Jacob Wool, that Republican jerk who was trying to claim that like Minnesota was like being secretly invaded by Muslims and it was turning into a Sharia law. This is a big thing like 2 months ago.
What?
Like people believe that Minnesota, like the neighborhood that we're in, was taken over by fanatic Muslims and you have to like cover your head when you leave the street. And I was like, that is absolutely not true. But once a year we are invaded by a group of unruly foreigners and it's every damn Packers home game. And it is the worst. That's what we should be talking about because it is the city. It's just
drivable.
like that movie Us. It's like Art Tethered. It's like a wilder, drunker, dumber version of Us, and they try to come kill us.
Never want to see that much green downtown Minneapolis.
Oh God, no.
I went to one NFL game this year, and it was Chiefs-Rams. It was the game that was supposed to be in Mexico City.
Oh, yeah.
And they moved at the last minute back to L.A., and so there were tickets available.
That was like the greatest football game of all time.
It was the only game that both point totals started with a 5 or more. It was crazy.
Was it a Monday night?
Yep, it was a Monday night
was
game. I
Monday
was
night.
watching it here.
that one.
It was unbelievable.
I have heard many serious football people say that might be the greatest regular season football game in the history.
I can't imagine what more
it was
you would
great
want.
Football. It was really fun to watch.
That was the, football or defense is dead game.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
There was the Super Bowl preview. It was all these buzzworthy players from fantasy implications, the big high-scoring offenses. And I was supposed to meet my friend who talked me into going, and his friend, and I was the one who brought all the wine and everything. And then they got caught up at a thing and couldn't meet us. Oh. So it was me and Krista and me chugging wine as fast as I could as we were going into this thing. And my wife goes, "You're getting pink drunk," which is like our standard of like me.
That's really funny.
Completely losing my mind. And I go, "Don't worry, I'm front loading." And I'm like chugging wine, the line to the thing. They're about to kick off. And I had a bottle of wine and a bottle of water, and we're in line to go into the thing. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I filled up the water bottle with wine and put it in my underwear and snuck it into the game.
Wow.
Yes!
You Greek Jesused him.
And I was literally just chugging more wine. I was completely hammered out of my mind.
Well
It was
done.
so fun.
My wife has never been more full of irritation and loathing for me than when we went to some sporting event like that and I reached in my pocket or I reached in down the front of my pants and pulled out 2 airplane bottles of whiskey. And she was like, "How long have you had those 2 whiskey bottles in your underwear?" And I was like, "Since the train." And then she's like, "Aren't they warm?" And I was like, "Why do you think I got a cup of ice water?"
I love it. I haven't done anything
share?
like that in forever. I mean, that
No,
felt like,
it was a walk on the wild side for me too.
that felt like such a throwback. In the old days, that's what we used to do at the University of Georgia games.
Oh, yeah.
The men's rooms would reek of Jim Beam because people would put them in their Ziploc bags and then they order a Coke at the thing and then they go in the bathroom, make a drink, come back out.
Oh yeah, we did that at hockey games in Duluth. Absolutely.
I
Oh,
may or
yeah.
may not have done that at the opera a time or two.
At the opera.
Yeah. Well, my opera drink of choice is I like to get an Irish. I like to get a coffee with Irish cream, and then I like to put a shot of whiskey in there. A shot of bourbon into an Irish coffee is the best thing in the world because it cuts the sweetness a little bit. But you're still drinking it slow. It's the best drink ever. But that's like a $15-$20 drink at the opera, or you get the $6 Irish coffee,
Underwear
half that.
beverage.
and a little airplane.
Maybe that's your liberal redneck. You could be the drunken opera goer. You find your own niche.
the smallest niche of all time. One Lewis Lee would think it was funny. That's the only person who would think it's
That's
funny.
the first person I thought of when you said opera. By the way,
He's my opera buddy. Nobody else wants to.
Not a lot of opera goers sneaking in booze in their underwear.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not knocking on the other stalls. I should ask.
How else would you know unless you build this character?
I'm very smooth, you know. Well, there's one way I'll just bring a flask next time and start passing it around the men's room and see what happens. We'll see if we can get some people fucked up before La Traviata on Saturday.
No one has ever even said that sentence before.
I think Verdi has. We're going to get people fucked up before Traviata.
you may be completely making all that up. I would have
No. They're playing La Traviata. It premieres on May 4th. I got opening night tickets. I just talked to one of the cellists outside.
You're not going to Garth Brooks that night?
Is that the same night as Garth Brooks?
It is.
I've seen Garth Brooks live, but I've never seen La Traviata live.
That's where I'll be. I'll be working Garth
I might be
Brooks.
one of the few people who's seen both live.
Wow. Yeah, that might be true. I bet some more people are getting drunk for the Garth show.
I would have to get drunk for the Garth show at this point.
Sneaking into the...
New Garth songs are hard to listen to.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're real bad.
Does he play the new stuff?
Yeah, yes. I don't know.
I have no idea. I want to say one more thing about the Alliance football stuff. Their championship game was supposed to be this weekend.
Oh.
Wow.
That was a short
I looked
season.
it up.
It's just insane that they canceled. I mean, a sporting league fold between regular season
During
weeks.
the game.
Yeah.
I read an article. It was a funding thing. It was the way that they made a deal to be funded, and then something changed, and they literally couldn't get the money from here to there in time to cover there was a...
It was like payroll and stuff. I mean, basic stuff. Yeah.
The big cheese that came in to really boost the funding, he changed his mind and pulled out. It was like this decision that everyone else hated, apparently.
Yeah, well, because I heard he was sort of calling the bluff with the NFL because he was saying that they weren't kicking in their fair share. Because I think the NFL had sort of suggested that they were going to help with more promotion and stuff, and then kind of didn't.
Well, they definitely had AAF headlines on NFL.com,
No,
and I was
they
kind of
did.
shocked by that.
Well, because it was, I think they thought there was going to be more of a partnership because the NFL said they wanted a developmental league.
Yeah, but they have it. It's called college football.
Yeah.
What do they want? I mean, they're handed the perfect situation.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I realized as soon as the AAF thing started, like, I don't want this personally. Just like, I'm kind of glad when football's over.
You'd like to have an off season.
I like the off season,
Yeah.
and then my excitement builds, and then when it comes back around, I'm ready for it.
Right.
Because I watch all this game Sunday, and we write the things. So when football season's over, I like have an extra day of my week.
Yeah, yeah.
I go from like a 6-day week to a 7-day
Oh,
week.
it's so much easier to
Is
not
this
have
you
football
talking or
season.
your wife?
Yeah.
No, really. I mean, but like for the first 2 months, you're just like, woohoo, football's back, and then by the end, you're like, yeah, I'd like to do some gardening on a Sunday, maybe go to a movie. You know?
Even the they fold mid-season or it's 2/3 of the way through, but like they had a whole the marketing or they brought starter jackets back for one thing because of that
They should bring
league.
stopper jackets back.
But they had a whole
AAF stands for aborted as fuck.
but like they had they had a AAF.com.
That was
I recognize it.
I'm running bits now.
Like they had a whole merch website. Like
Yeah.
all that is just like gone now.
It's crazy.
They had the championship game that was supposed to be this weekend. It was going to be on CBS on national television.
The first week, I was like, I remember turning the TV on, and I was like, oh man, they're really running this on like ABC in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
people were tweeting about it.
When we went to the game, there was like I said, it was week 3. There was a guy and it popped in my head right away. Like, man, first of all, how did this guy become such a super fan already? And what's going to happen if this thing isn't a success? Because there was the guy, the local, who was dressed head to toe in what his version of the mascot would look like.
Yeah.
He's trying to get on the ground floor, so he gets to be the guy they show.
Yeah.
If it gets televised, like he'll become Fireman Ed.
Yeah. In arena or in stadium, he was already. Like, he didn't. There's no way he bought a ticket, just like I did. But he was sort of their unofficial mascot.
Yeah. Ooh, you know what would be a fun Twitter account would be AAF team logo tattoos. You know, at least a few people got AAF team logo tattoos.
How about Orlando Apollo's playoff bound?
Yeah. The best would be somebody who got the AF Super Bowl tattoo predictively.
The one other thing that they were promoting the hell out of during the game we went to was the Steve Spurrier was the head coach of the Orlando team.
Yeah.
You could sign up for the Steve Spurrier cruise ship.
Oh.
There was going to be a Steve Spurrier cruise after the season ended.
Wow.
And now I have no idea.
That might be the best thing about this. The league collapsing is Steve Spurrier's like dream season went down the toilet.
They were kicking ass.
Yeah, they were, right? He claimed championship when the league closed. He goes, I guess we won.
Yep.
That's what you do like when you're a kid and your mom ends the game. Like,
right.
We had 2 more points. We're the champions.
Yeah, we win. It's dark out.
And I think the AAF literally closed down by saying, next point wins. Next point wins. We all got to go in.
Sudden death for the league.
So will the XFL succeed?
No.
Yeah, I think
no.
The XFL.
But they have a better shot.
No, I don't think so. I think the XFL is truly terrible.
Here's what the XFL has against it. It already failed once, and now we have the AAF that failed, and that's going to be in people's minds. These things aren't going to last. Why give it a chance? It's not going to last.
The XFL is... It's a mistake in a bunch of different ways. But one thing, it's predicated upon bringing back the violence that the NFL literally has to take out if the game is going to survive. And they're doing things where they're like, well, we're going to start the game, but they have to play hockey to find out who gets the first thing.
Yeah,
and
they
then,
do some weird stuff.
It's really stupid.
Only one team gets pads.
It's really stupid. It feels to me like one of those movies where you can tell that it was made by somebody going like, what do you think people want? Let's give people everything they want all at once. And
but
it turns out to be a big pile of garbage.
They'll have Johnny Manziel. They'll get Ocho Cinco. There'll be some fun storylines that other leagues wouldn't touch.
It's going to be terrible. Because people already have professional wrestling for that, and we have football, and it's neither fish nor fowl. It's right in between the two. And also, I hope Vince McMahon dies of a heart attack today. So, the sooner Vince McMahon and all of his family get in some sort of private plane crash.
You're also the only one who could talk about the XFL and then say it's neither fish nor fowl.
That's drunk opera talk right there.
Yeah, is that the name of an opera?
But it sounds better in Italian.
I bet.
Frutti mare. That's the sea. That's fruit of the sea.
You would definitely win if there was any nerd contest left.
Yeah, I fold. I absolutely fold. Oh, so you mentioned Game of Thrones. You're a fan. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Nope.
I'm back to
He doesn't do traditional nerd stuff.
I tried. We tried because all of our friends like the show, and we tried. But we've tried several shows that all of our friends like. We just can't get into, and that's one of them.
Third week in a row, I need to say on the podcast. Third week in a row, a guest does not watch Game of Thrones.
Wow.
Adam Ray last week, Josh Weinstein the week before.
Right.
I thought, is this a Jewish thing? After 2 weeks in a row, with those guys?
I could pass for Jewish.
So that
According
clearly
to
isn't.
Siri, you can, the way she pronounces your name.
That's right.
My wife and I watched the pilot a few months ago of the first season and tried again because we.
That's always a good example of
tried
show,
years
the
ago.
pilot.
Well, we tried the pilot and then the next one.
Okay.
And then we're like, nah. And then we watched the first episode of this season just to feel like we're
that would be so boring.
part of the culture.
The first episode of this season would have been so boring if you're not super into it.
Well, the dragons were nice.
Oh yeah, I suppose there were some
And
dragons.
there was some nudity and.
Yeah, well, that's true.
They
That's
did bring
true.
back some nudity.
But as a friend of mine said, he goes, there's these whole stories. People haven't seen each other in decades and they're hugging and there's this emotional component that you don't get.
Yeah.
You're just watching people hug. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the feeling we got from it.
Yeah.
Fair. So I totally get why people love it. It's just not my cup of tea. So,
Fair enough.
Carry on. Enjoy
Fair
your.
enough.
Yeah.
People feel the same way about basketball. I'm like, how could you watch basketball? It's unwatchable.
I agree. I think it's super boring.
Yeah, you're not. I don't think you're going to get an argument on that here from
No.
us. Yeah, I don't.
I always think it's
Aaron Hodges loves basketball.
yeah, he does.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because I always think it's kind of weird when I think it's dumb when either nerds get to like when during the Super Bowl, oh, sports ball's on. You're like,
Right.
oh, I'm sorry, you don't like everything. I'm sorry, everything is not made to your personal taste. And then the flip side is when the jocks are like, hey, stupid dragon show, and it's like,
Right.
And I think that delineation has left where like it's not like jocks and nerds, but people still do the thing where they go like, oh, I can't believe people are excited about the Avengers. It's like,
Right.
well, are you excited about something? Well, imagine the thing you're excited about. Imagine if that was that.
Yes.
Like things are happening
Well said.
every day that you don't give a shit about. You
Right.
know, there's a rodeo in town that you didn't go to, and a
Yeah, right.
classical music concert you didn't listen to.
Yeah, right. That's right. There's thousands of things. It's neither fish nor fowl.
Yes,
I think that's the best way to sum it up. Really.
it's surf and turf.
I don't think I used it right at all.
Costaki, you don't live in New York anymore.
No, we moved to L.A. We're California people now.
Are you digging it?
I loved missing a New York winter. New York winters are brutal. I mean, I can't bitch to you guys about it, but
Keep it to yourself.
But you guys have to walk everywhere. It's a little different.
it is a little bit different because you wind up waiting for the subway in wet boots, and you're like, ugh, what am I doing?
Chicago winter in a lot of ways I think is worse than Minneapolis winter because I drive. So
Yeah.
waiting for the L when you're on the elevated platform and that Michigan Avenue wind, that
yeah.
Lake Michigan wind is
Right.
blowing through, and
Right.
oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when you're in a concrete jungle and it's like slushy and wet for the 7th month in a row, you're like, what the fuck? Why do we live here? So I'm glad we missed that part of New York, but all of the other
when did you
parts of
move?
New York are great.
When?
We moved in September.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you
so
think it's better for the kids though, like being in California and sun and outdoors and more space and
yeah, maybe yes, but it's also L.A., so it's not just California. Like California's great and L.A. sucks. So
Yeah.
I try to embrace the California part of our new life, not the L.A. part. L.A.
way
is
to look at it.
traffic and stepping on each other's heads to get ahead in show business, and it's weird and competitive. And California is laid back and progressive and outdoorsy and thoughtful about the environment and the world and politics and their environment. I don't know. I like California. It's just LA I don't love. So, but it's nice to be able to walk a kid in a stroller in February. That wouldn't be an option in our prior life.
Right.
And there's several of those kind of things. Like sometimes they have these electric scooters everywhere that you can just jump on and go. And we have this kind of walkable.
We have those here too.
yeah.
All right.
But it was just too cold until yesterday.
Yes, right.
They'll be back.
Yeah,
Frozen
yeah.
in a block of ice.
Right.
We'll get them. We'll get them.
We're chipping them out.
Yeah, right now they're snowmobiles, but
But we have a walkable street that has cafes, and so it's that side of life has been really nice. And we have twice as much space for the same rent.
okay. Well, that's gotta be great.
We
The
live in
space thing is huge for me.
we live in a little townhouse now, so we have 2 floors. So if the kid's crying up there, I could be on the radio down there, and vice versa. And so all that stuff has been an improvement. We also have a fire pit and a hammock and a little area for the dog. We have a little bit of a regular life that we didn't have in New York. But I miss New York. Walking to everything in New York is so handy.
How about career-wise?
Career-wise, it's hard for me because of 2 things. The hours. Like when I call Indianapolis at 8:20, it's 5:20.
Yeah.
You're talking
Jesus.
3-hour difference, right?
I literally finish my Quick Snaps calls and then take the child to school. I do like 2.5 hours of radio calls, and school hasn't started yet.
Brutal.
It's weird.
And you got to stay up and watch the Sunday night game.
Yeah.
So it's it's like
But that
5 hours later.
in a weird way is because it ends so much earlier.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So there's more time to write on the Sunday night.
oh yeah.
And that part's weird for me, just emotionally. Like as early as like 8:15, football's over. Like that doesn't feel right.
As an East Coaster, you're like, the game's over, then I go to bed.
Yeah, it's
basically.
like really late. Like football happens at night, and there, like even a Monday night game, you're like, well, it's Monday night. I'm not even drunk yet, and football's over. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It feels weird.
I bet it would be. Because I mean, the way even in Central Time, in my mind on Sundays, it's like, I usually my wife and I do a little something, watch a movie or TV show. I watch the last half of the Sunday night game while she goes to bed. Then I crack open a beer, a bottle of wine, I go upstairs, I write jokes for a little while. while, and I go to bed. I'm done. It's like, oh shit, 11:15,
right,
11:30, time to go.
Yeah, right. So that part's
that would
weird.
be strange if I got done with all that and it was
And also physically getting back to the Midwest, where most of my gigs are, is much harder from LA because you're losing hours with the flight, and you have to sometimes take red eyes because you can't get there the same day. It's like, blech. But these are all the trade-offs. The climate is so great out there.
Yeah. And you had to move?
Yeah, the 10-year-old's mom got a job, and we debated all the possibilities, but there wasn't really a good answer. That wasn't.
Can I ask what would have been the next best not moving? How would you have done that?
You can ask. Well, I mean,
he's actually looking for ideas. Do you have any suggestions?
You could. I mean, yeah,
I'm 7 minutes away from my ex-wife and children's mother. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's a better construct than a lot of the other setups. I mean, you could theoretically, mom and kid moved to L.A. and we stayed in New York. That was theoretically a possibility. Or we could have fought to keep the kid there and mom goes to L.A. by herself. But both of those were messy to get your head around.
Yeah.
So we kind of just went, all right, let's just go. And it's a good answer for the kid, for sure.
Yeah.
And, we'll see what happens from here.
And your careers can move. I mean,
that's lucky because
a lot of people could do that.
Right. My wife and I both could move. Most of her money comes from teaching online. She does a high ticket class for, photographers, how to build their businesses, and she can do that from anywhere. Yeah. And she actually started her photography business in LA. She used to have a studio in Malibu, so she even has some clients.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
When she's not getting flown all over Europe to talk about pictures.
Yeah. She hasn't done that lately, but she did take me to some cool gigs. Yeah.
She's very good. I've seen her. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, you got pictures.
I got some pictures.
Right.
Because you guys always have the best baby pictures. Because she's like, oh yeah, you got a cute baby plus professional photographer.
Yeah,
wife.
that's a good combo.
Yeah, you're gonna get some good Facebook parental content there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a minute. So your youngest is 9 months?
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's great now. Now it's great because the move was brutal and the sleep deprivation is brutal.
How old was she when you moved? A month? 2 months?
Yeah, she was like she was born mid-July. We moved mid-September, so she was 2 months old.
Yeah, that timing
was insane.
Across the country. I mean, the whole
thing. And you remember this? We packed our shit. It was picked up. And then we flew to L.A. and raced the arrival of our stuff, having not had a place yet.
Right, so you had to get the place.
So we got a baby and a dog and half a 9-year-old, and we're like, we're going to L.A. I hope we find a place before our shit gets here.
I was literally just stressed for you. I was just like feeling stressed here for no reason. Like, I think I'm feeling something.
And then we found so many places that we kind of pushed our luck and like kept looking because then we got picky. And then we literally signed a lease at noon on a Thursday, and Friday morning at 7:30 our shit arrived.
Wow.
That was crazy.
That's tight.
That was crazy. Tom Griswold was like panicked for me.
Yeah.
He hated this whole story so much.
It was giving me the fan tots from far away.
Did you ditch any possessions because of the long move?
Yeah, we winnowed down some things. Yeah, we gave a lot of furniture and stuff away to the people in our building.
Oh, sure.
They used to have a second dog and a third kid. Got to streamline.
Yeah, sorry, Ava. We voted, and
we had a draft.
Yeah, we got a new kid now. So
sadly, Larry Economopoulos did not make the trip. Poor Larry's still in New York.
Larry,
Lawrence.
Our dog's named Larry in your mind.
Your kid's named Larry.
Oh, my kid. Oh, the other kid.
Your lost son, Larry.
Well, oh yeah, I never mentioned Larry because we traded away.
I figured in the hypothetical scenario, I would go ahead and have Ava win since she's a real person and have the fake kid lose.
Yep.
That's a better construct.
I figured if
I
you
threw
ever
Ava under the bus in this scenario.
Well, I called her a hoe earlier. So.
Be consistent.
I was trying to raise myself in her esteem a little bit if she listens to this when she gets older. Daddy's friend's an asshole.
Uncle Brian.
Yeah. I have 4 nieces and a nephew, so yeah, my nieces and nephew know that I'm an asshole. I'm a good uncle. I think though, there's like the spot open for like the kind of rowdy uncle who buys good presents and tells jokes you're not supposed to hear.
Oh yeah,
and kind of upsets everybody. That's my thing.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a good role.
I had a thing. Yes, my daughter's doing a famous person. She's in 5th grade doing a famous person report. She's going to do hers on Anne Frank. She was talking about the other kids, some other kids in class doing other ones on other people. One of her friends is doing one on Helen Keller.
I always mix them up.
I think my kids do too.
I mix them up and like because I'll meet one and I'll say the other, and it's a really strange thing where you're like, yeah,
those are not the same.
no, they're
thing.
not.
No.
Very different challenges.
No. If you're not sure, I invite you to come to the
I guess I
presentation,
can
and my daughter will.
You can't do Beyonce? She picks Anne Frank?
Queen Bee?
Is that the most fun one she could think of?
That's true.
That story is hard on my heart, man.
Yeah, I
Goodness
know.
gracious.
Plus, I looked at the things that she's got to present, and it's like lifelong accomplishments. It's like Anne Frank.
She just went with a short one.
Ended.
She picked the shortest book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead, child. Study up on the worst that humanity has to offer.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad lesson for kids.
No, I
you know?
agree. But it
not
is
being sheltered.
It is a heavy one in my head.
Oh,
like,
no doubt.
whoa.
No doubt.
She couldn't even talk.
You fucker.
You mean because of the Nazis? Because they could hear her? Is that what you mean?
She couldn't hear the Nazis coming. I always mix this part up.
Oh, yeah.
She,
You had to be quiet
she
because
wore
of the
some striped
Nazis.
pajamas, I think. I don't. I'm not good with history.
There's no opera about this?
Yes. It's a shame. It's not.
Why would you make an opera about Helen Keller?
Well, okay.
That just seems like rubbing it in.
Now, here's what I was
It's a
getting-
visual and oral feast.
No,
Oh,
actually,
sorry.
Here's what I was getting to is yesterday when we were talking about
You should make a
this.
sculpture for Helen Keller, something she can appreciate.
I said to my children, I said, you bring up Helen Keller, it reminds me of a joke that went around when I was about your age.
Oh.
Answer the Iron?
No. Oh, that one.
Classic.
I forgot about that one. But what did Helen Keller name her dog?
It's like,
Yes. Yes, I paused and I was like, I'm not even going to tell you guys.
sad that I know the answer to that one. I don't even think I've ever heard it before. I think I'm just a bad person. I think I just knew the answer.
I did the setup for my children yesterday, and I was like, I shouldn't follow through on this. And my daughter's like, you have to. Then I went, don't repeat that to your mother or anyone in school.
What if your whole report on Helen Keller is you just went up on the thing and you're like, and you're like, well, shit. I mean, she's in character.
And the other one, the full report, just be like sneaking
Very
around.
quiet. Yeah.
Just writing in your diary quietly.
Everyone come to the supply closet. I'm going to give my presentation.
I don't think we should go on after that. I don't know.
That's the closer.
I don't know. I think that is the closer. I think that's it. There's more shows this week. People ought to come see you guys here at Acme.
Yeah.
And I'm headlining May 14th and 15th.
Okay.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, May 14th, 15th.
I'm glad you got that info in.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the weekend of what's happening that weekend?
Someone more important than me.
Jimmy Pardo or something?
Oh, no. I almost got to open for Pardo, but I'm booked that weekend.
Oh,
I was
okay.
bummed about that. I love Pardo.
But are you doing a split week? Or are you middle?
No. I'm just doing Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
We like when you headline.
Yeah, I think I do.
Like
I do
seeing
too.
that full set.
I like doing Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a good time to work on stuff. Like a familiar crowd.
Yeah, that's
The
nice.
regulars are out. Kind of forces you to do new stuff because you're like pretty sure they've heard some of the stuff before.
Right. Yeah, that's good for you.
Good. My wife and I almost came last night, and she's like, let's not be hurried and get out of here. Let's go on the weekend. And when I really, she got really excited when I mentioned you, Brian. I was like,
very nice.
Brian's working with Costaki. She's like, let's go this weekend.
You should bring her out.
We might be coming this weekend.
Good. I got some new stuff.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Saturday's sold out.
It is?
It is.
Nice.
The first show.
Well, that's all that we need, really.
So
well, I
come-
guess we would like to have the
Come
second
to
show.
any of the other shows.
Yeah, Saturday early sold out. It's good for the recording purposes.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're recording some stuff for Sirius this weekend. We're going to get some stuff recorded and get it played on
The radio.
the radio.
Oh, this is like what you've done in the past? Where you just kind of send them clips?
Same guy.
Oh, right on. Right. Oh, wait, is it your Aaron guy?
Yeah, it's the same recording guy that he used and recommended to me that I used for my last
did Live at
album.
Acme, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we're going to use Aaron as the producer, and he's great at editing
Yeah.
and all the details. And
Look at that.
Well, Aaron knows comedy. He knows like the audio stuff, and he knows comedy. So he's not going to make some weird.
yeah, he's the
edit.
perfect storm, and he gives us a good deal, and he's connected to Sirius, and
Yeah.
he's all the things.
And
Perfect.
We kind of like him.
I like him.
He's a good dude.
His football team sucks.
Yeah, he takes it well.
Ish.
Fellas, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Come see the shows. Follow you guys on social media. Go to Brian's open mic on Tuesdays in Minneapolis.
Eric the Red Menace Comedy, voted City Page's best open mic.
If you didn't already know.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.